Hi, Grace family. Happy Tuesday to you. We're going to continue in Psalm 121. There's just so much that this psalm has to offer the people of God. One of the beautiful parts about the psalm is how personal it is, right? Psalm 121 starts, I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. It's a very personal psalm, right? But there's that phrase in there, behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. This is one of the great things about this psalm, is that why it's so intensely personal. My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. When it says, behold, he who keeps Israel, all of a sudden it gets us out of our own world and it sets us in the context of other people and the community of the people of God. Behold, he who keeps Israel. What is the effect that this personal psalm has upon you when you read, behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep? For many of us, that might seem out of place. It's such a personal psalm. Where does Israel come into the mix? Or the intended reaction and response that this is supposed to convey is that as this psalm is an intensely personal psalm, the Lord understands that, and then he applies it to the community of faith. So as the psalmist looks for help, he appropriately looks to the Lord for help. But then we're buttressed in the help that the Lord provides us with the Christian community. You see, when God helps us individually, one of the things that he does is he sets us in the context of community. Now, we know how important that Christian community is, right? Because here under COVID-19, we've lost that fellowship, right? We've lost that sense of community. A lot of us are yearning for it. Then we have to find ways as individual Christians and also as ministries to find a way to foster that sense of community because of how important it is. Not simply what it means for us as individuals as we gather around community, but also recognizing that here in this very personal psalm, the Lord explicitly brings community, Israel, to mind in these words in verse 4. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. That's intensely personal psalm broadens our understanding to the Christian community. Oftentimes, the help the Lord does provide us is with our brothers and sisters in Christ. So as we focus on this psalm, maybe we can be comforted by the fact that God has all set us in the context of community, or maybe this can remind us that there might be other people seeking help from the Lord, and maybe we're the answer that the Lord is going to provide to others. The last thing I want to share about God putting Israel, the Christian community, into this psalm is a reminder that this sets it in the context of the church that the Lord has saved. It sets it in the context of salvation history. This connects us with the saints throughout every generation. We're connected to other believers across the world. We're connected to the first century church as Jesus ascended into heaven and they began their mission work. This connects us to Old Testament Israel that were singing these psalms in worship and as they went to Jerusalem for the feasts. It's an intensely personal psalm, and yet it broadens the help that the Lord provides in and through his people. God bless you this Tuesday. Have a wonderful week.